So let's push aside maybe our differences on whether we need signings at the minute, if that's okay, just for a conversation. So let's push aside the signing side of this transfer window and let's just focus on the contract extensions. Why do we think that these contract extensions are proving so difficult for Liverpool to get over the line? I spoke about it last night, and I can only assume that they're lowball offers. At least lowball is how I perceive them being interpreted by the players. Because today, Chris Wood agreed and signed that extension with Nottingham Forest. And we spoke about other clubs going out there, signing extensions with players. Haaland being the most notable. Diallo at Manchester United. Guardiola, again, at Manchester City. And we can't seem to get any of these ones done. Whether it's Diaz, Kanade, and the three ones we're talking about that leave at the end of this season. I'm concerned from that, because one of a few things can be true here. Or maybe some of all of it can be true. Either the club have genuine financial concerns and are unable to offer these contracts at the higher levels because it impacts their budget and maybe moving forward to what they want to do in the transfer window. That's possible. We're cheaping out and lowballing. We have to say is possible as well. So I don't know. Look, I'm not claiming to be an oracle of everything Liverpool here. I'm just a fan who wants to understand the position and know why we can't seem to operate in the market the same way a lot of others have. So let's look at a net spend table for a minute. Because this gives us a good reflection, I think, of how Liverpool have punched above their weight financially in what we've spent over the last 9 years. So this net spend chart that I have covers 2015 up to 2024. And Manchester United, now net spend, I should point out, obviously is after player sales. So money that's recouped is knocked off. So you've got your gross and then you've got your net. And your net is after sales and after bringing back in money. So this is basically what you've really spent. Now, this doesn't include, obviously, VAT, agents' fees, tax, social insurance, and lots of other bits and pieces that go into any wage bill or any contract. So, Manchester United topped the chart with a £1.08 billion net spend over that 9-year period. Chelsea, 1.07, just behind Manchester United. Paris Saint-Germain, £825 million over that 9-year period. Arsenal, £661 million. Spurs, 591. City, 585. AC Milan, 527. Newcastle, 521. Barcelona, 500 million. Al Hilal, 462 million. West Ham United, 456 million. Aston Villa, 433 million. Bournemouth, 318 million. Liverpool, £304 million has been our net spend on transfers with the basic numbers over that same 9-year period. So to put that into context, Liverpool have only spent £3 million more than Crystal Palace. They've spent less than Bournemouth, Villa, West Ham, Al Hilal, Barcelona, Newcastle, AC Milan, Manchester City, Spurs, Arsenal, PSG, Chelsea and United. So you can look at that in a couple of ways. You can say that Liverpool have done very well on the selling side of it because this is a factor of a net spend as well. The more you bring in, the better your sales, the lower the net spend figure looks. But again, you think if it's a net spend figure, you have the ability to go out there and spend some more. And seeing Liverpool ranking 17th when we're one of the most profitable or one of the most cash generating clubs now in world football, it doesn't feel like we're punching at our weight. It feels like we've overachieved somewhat for the money that's been spent. So my brain, as a fan, thinks, wow, so we've done some good stuff and won some trophies with a really modest net spend, which works out to about, I think, 40 million quid a year over 9 years, which is not much for net spend on transfers. So I think, what could we do with more? What could we do if we were punching up there with even the Spurs of this world spending nearly twice what we have net on players? It just makes the frustration greater for me as a fan because most of us will agree we've been pretty good in the transfer market when we have pulled the trigger. So why not do it more? It's confusing. Another post. In the last 2 years, We've had Mane, 150k. Firmino, 150k. Oxlade-Chamberlain, 140k. Hendo, 140k. Thiago, 200k. Matip, 100k. Milner, 110k. Fabinho, 140k. Klopp, 280k. Plus, obviously, Adrian San Miguel. All gone off the wage bill. Now, of course, we've brought some players in during that time as well, and we need to talk about that. But these players coming in aren't coming in on the top end of this money. So we know Luis Diaz came in on relatively low money. Darwin probably cancels out maybe the Hendo, let's say. So it doesn't make sense to us because we were being told a lot that we cleaned a lot of money off the wage bill. And I think most of us assumed that some of that saving would be eaten up in the contract extensions that were going to be coming or offered to Trent, to Virgil and to Mo. And then maybe to Canade and Diaz after that. Just doesn't, none of this seems to make sense to us. Now, so this is where I'm going to ask my friend who was in the chat earlier on. Where are you, sir? Sorry, I'm scrolling back up, bro. I'm trying to find you. Rappel Group. Would love to know your explanation of that, because I grant you that maybe it does take in some of the time period you've spoken about with the Salah wage increase from the last round, but it still doesn't really explain it. And I've always wondered, and you can go back over years on this channel, I've always questioned the wage bill because it's something that's never made sense to me. And it's never been explained well enough. And I don't think it's not been explained well enough to just me, to many. Damon said, Craig, sounds like typical FSG PR BS. Why can't they spend and won't spend in another window? Yes, 100% agree with you on that. You know, I've been of the mindset that they can do more, but have chosen not to do more for a long time. I'm of the mindset that they aren't doing everything to win at this club. And that's only increased as they've looked around and added in the likes of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they're looking for maybe an NBA franchise down the line, and they've invested more money in golf. I just don't want the focus to come off us, because we should be the jewel in the crown of FSG. And it feels to me like we're not doing everything we can to be successful, and that the owners are getting away with it. And this is a divisive subject. I get it. There will be some people that very much disagree with everything that I say, and that's fine. But explain why we're wrong, because I am open to being educated on this stuff. But it's not just me or you. Many people who are far better graced with this are confused by it, and I'm tired, quite frankly. I'm tired with battling with everybody and you know, feeling like we have to fight our corner because they can spend more money. You know, to see a net spend of about 300 and something million quid over 9 years versus $1 billion from Chelsea and United and other clubs. And nobody wants us to be spending money frivolously that we haven't got. Nobody wants us to be a Chelsea or a Man City. But God, you're telling me we can't compete with Spurs in the market, West Ham? We can't spend more money than those clubs when we've been in Europe consistently, whether mostly in Klopp's time in the Champions League. Jan said, Craig, all we need is a few transfers. Absolutely. 100% agree with you, mate. We're in a very good position. And it's hard to push back against people who say, look, Craig, we're top of the league. We're top of the Champions League. You know, that they're facts. I can't argue about them. But it's the uncertainty of what's going to happen between now and the end that has many of us feeling frustrated. Because we've seen Liverpool be in these good positions before. 3 title races I can think of at this point of a season. We've been there or thereabouts, but it didn't go our way. And that's where that's where the uncertainty comes from so many fans, is we've been in this situation and we haven't acted and we haven't strengthened. And we don't want to get back to it. We don't want another heartbreaking season where we think, what if? So why run the risk? Why roll the dice when you can go out and be proactive? And proactive could be something as simple for me as getting those contracts signed over and announced and let that good vibe come back in. There is an undercurrent of frustration in the fan base right now. Not felt by everybody, but certainly by a large percentage of people. They're just not sure about it.